Welcome back to the Relaxing Ghost channel here on YouTube. Today we have the WWF 2000 pay-per-view collection. We got 14 pay-per-views to go through here, and after this video I'm going to be doing the 2001 pay-per-view collection. Doing a little updated versions of these since I recently got the Insurrections and Rebellions. So hope y'all enjoy. Let's get right into this with the Royal Rumble 2000. You know, 2000 would be the last year they used this blue home video logo, which I've always loved. And here we go. So we all know by now that they only released 5 pay-per-views from 2000, Rumble, Mania, King of the Ring, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series. At the time, I only had, I was only missing SummerSlam and King of the Ring on tape. So I don't know if I'll ever get those on tape, but for the most part, I have them all on VHS here. So Royal Rumble 2000, one of the best Rumbles. The famous King street fight there with Cactus and Triple H. Really cool. You got a green swoosh there. Really cool. And I must have forgot to rewind this one. Shame on me. Yeah, this was a pretty cool event. We had the first ever tables match, tag team tables match. Debut of Taz. Pretty decent Rumble match. Really cool event. Except for that Miss Rumble swimsuit competition. Next up would be No Way Out 2000. This would be the end of Cactus Jack's full-time career, as we would only see him every once in a while, including WrestleMania the next month. But really cool cover. I love that kind of goldish color there, tanned. Small logo on there. You got Kane and X-Pac, Big Show and The Rock, Jericho and Kurt Angle. So this is where Jericho becomes the Euro-Continental Champion. And of course, this would feature a Hell in a Cell match, Triple H and Cactus Jack. Really, really cool stuff. One of my favorite Cell matches. And then Big Show challenging Rock for the WrestleMania qualifying match. Next up here is WrestleMania 2000. With a McMahon in every corner. I've always loved this cover. The WrestleMania logo. Green score again there. And seeing that WWF Championship on the cover. Really cool. So this one is closer to 4 hours. I know it says 3.5. I believe at this year's WrestleMania, they bumped it up to 4 hours. This would be the first 4-hour Mania. Really cool with the triangle ladder match, the two-fall triple threat match for both IC and European titles, the 13-man hardcore battle royal. You got Too Cool in China versus the Radicals, and then the fatal 4-way elimination match, McMahon in every corner for the WWF title. Next up, we got Backlash from 2000. Probably what WrestleMania should have been. We got the big Stone Cold Steve Austin return. And this was, I believe, the first Backlash to feature those big old swinging hooks. Really cool backing and color to it. Again, shot of the tape. We got the Showster there versus Kurt Angle. The Dudleys versus TNA, I believe. Yeah. We got Chris Benoit versus Chris Jericho for the IC title. These guys had a really good feud here in the 2000. And then Triple H with Vince and Stephanie versus The Rock with Steve Austin. Shane McMahon as the guest referee. Very, very cool pay-per-view. Love that Backlash logo. No. Next up, we got Insurrection 2000. Never seen in the U.S. Got Triple H, The Rock, and Shane McMahon now on the cover. Now The Rock's champion, so he'll be defending the title against Triple H on this show. It's actually a triple threat between Rock, Triple H, and Shane. We got Eddie Guerrero versus Jericho, Edge and Christian versus the Hardys, Crash Holly versus the Bulldog, Benoit versus Angle. This is a stacked show here. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. 3-hour runtime. So yeah, when I was, younger collecting, I wasn't too much into these UK pay-per-views, and they're only something I recently started picking up. Judgment Day 2000 would be a hell of a pay-per-view. Just love that logo there, Judgment Day 2000. This would feature the Iron Man match between Rock and Triple H. Just look at this detail here in the glasses of The Undertaker. Got Triple H and The Rock there. Very cool. Always love that Judgment Day logo. Of course, Shawn Michaels was the guest referee. We had Benoit and Jericho now in a submission match for the IC title. Like I said, they had a hell of a feud going here in 2000, which would eventually lead to their ladder match at Rumble 2001. We've got a triple threat match for the European title. Eddie Guerrero now with China versus Dean and Perry. So a lot of stuff going on in 2000. King of the Ring 2000, like I mentioned, only this one and SummerSlam are the only two that I was missing from this year. So this is the pay-per-view in which Kurt Angle won the tournament. Love this disc art. Very cool insert. So yeah, Kurt Angle defeats Jericho, I believe Crash Holly, and Rikishi. The one thing I don't like about this show is they changed the title in the 6-man tag. Triple H and the McMahon Boys versus Rock, Taker, and Kane. Triple H was the champ, and The Rock ends up pinning Vince McMahon to win the title. Yes, that actually happened. Then we have a handicap table dumpster match with Road Dogg and X-Pac and Tori versus the Dudleys. And yes, the first ever evening gown match for the hardcore title, Patterson versus Briscoe. That happened. The surprising thing about this King of the Ring is that Benoit, Jericho, and Guerrero were all eliminated in the quarterfinals. So yeah, that's King of the Ring 2000. Fully Loaded from 2000. One of my all-time favorite pay-per-views. I wish they would have kept this Fully Loaded pay-per-view. I always liked the name Fully Loaded. Like Backlash, Judgment Day, Unforgiven, No Mercy. These were some cool pay-per-view names. Fully Loaded was one I always enjoyed. I love this dark blue kind of color scheme they got going on here. Rock, Triple H, and Undertaker. Pretty sure this is the same picture. Looks pretty similar there. Yeah, this is a hell of a show from Dallas, I believe. And it'd be The Rock and Benoit in the main event. Last man standing with Triple H and Jericho, and Undertaker and Kurt Angle. This pay-per-view was billed as a triple main event. We've seen a lot of double main events and co-main events. This was a triple main event. A hell of an opener between the Hardys and Lita, TNA and Trish. And then Perry Saturn versus Eddie Guerrero. WWF is rocking here in the middle of 2000. and SummerSlam 2000. You know, I got a love-hate thing for this show. You know, like I said, there was so much going on here. And in the middle of 2000, or towards the end of it by now in SummerSlam, you know, we got the TLC match here. Undertaker versus Kane, triple threat for the title. Jericho versus Benoit, 2 out of 3 falls. Taz and Jerry Lawler. You also had Shane McMahon versus Steve Blackman. There's a shot from the first TLC match. You know, not the best SummerSlam, but it's one I enjoyed. And I also have a custom fully loaded pay-per-view as well. So yeah, SummerSlam 2000, not the best. Give it a watch if you haven't seen it. Unforgiven from 2000. You know, they're using the same Undertaker picture for all these, which is okay, I guess. Looks like they also use the same Rock photo almost without the glasses. You know, I gotta love these, you know, very colorful packaging though. So if you look closely, you could see Taker's symbol behind the Unforgiven logo there. You know, just really cool designs. And classic Unforgiven logo. This was billed as the return of Stone Cold Steve Austin, as he was out for a year with neck surgery, spinal fusion, whatever it was. But we had a fatal 4-way for the title: Rock, Taker, Kane, and Benoit. Seems like they were really trying to elevate Benoit to the next level. Fully loaded 2000. He had an excellent match with The Rock. We also got a tag team cage match between the Hardys, Enc. We got Jerry Lawler versus Taz, X-Pac and Jericho, Eddie Guerrero versus Rikishi, Triple H versus Kurt Angle, and Austin was here to kind of let people know everyone's on notice. No Mercy, Stone Cold would return to the ring officially in a match with Rikishi, which was not really a match, more of a no-holds-barred street fight. Classic No Mercy logo. Very cool. And yeah, I believe around this time was when they released the No Mercy video game. So we got The Rock versus Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle winning the championship here in a big moment. We also had Jericho and X-Pac in the cage. So we got cage matches, back-to-back pay-per-views here, which is really odd. And we also had a cage match at Fully Loaded as well, with Rikishi and Val Venus. So you don't see them doing many cage matches, back-to-back shows these days. So we also had Acolytes and Lita versus TNA and Trish. Triple H versus Chris Benoit, really underrated match. Val Venus and Richards versus Chyna and Mr. Ass. You know, the right to censor was censoring everyone at this time. Last couple here with Survivor Series, the rules have changed. Stone Cold Steve Austin is marked Triple H. And I always love this logo here with the kind of camouflage and the crosshair. You know, really cool logo. Oh, classic Stone Cold. The DVD set is really cool. I'm not going to show it here, but I have reviewed it before. So we got Jericho and Kane, The Rock and Rikishi, Kurt Angle versus The Undertaker, Ivory and Lita. You know, only a couple of classic tag matches, but I always like this one with the Radicals and kind of a new version of DX almost, with Billy Gunn, Chyna, Road Dogg, and K-Quick. And then we got the Hardys and Dudleys versus Enc and Rtc. This is a good pay-per-view. Rebellion from 2000. You know, really cool cover here. I've gone on and said I love this logo here, the fist. Got the beautiful Trish Stratus and Lita on the cover. Kurt Angle and The Rock. Really cool logo there. So yeah, now we got China versus Eddie Guerrero. So they're starting their feud here. Or it was Billy Gunn and China versus Guerrero and Malenko. You got Regal versus Crash, Ivory versus Lita, Jericho versus Kane, the Hardys versus RTC, Undertaker versus Benoit, and a fatal four-way for the WWF title. Kurt Angle, Austin, Rock, and Rikishi. Really cool. It's cool seeing these shots from like the old SmackDown sets and whatnot. Finally, Armageddon 2000 with the 6-man Hell in a Cell match. This was an awesome pay-per-view. I watched this one live as it happened, as I did with many of these in 2000. This was a pay-per-view I'll never forget with this 6-man Hell in a Cell. Got Angle, Taker, Triple H, The Rock, Rikishi, and Stone Cold Steve Austin. You also got a 4 corners tag match, the one Billy Gunn versus Benoit. China versus Val Venus, Last Man Standing with Jericho and Kane. Really cool pay-per-view. So there we have it, the 2000 pay-per-view collection. If you have any of these in your collection, let me know some of your favorites from the year 2000. And as always, we'll talk to you later. Peace.